Hello everyone, welcome to the Redmen TV. It is the instant match reaction. Liverpool beat Burnley by 2-0. I am Ross Shelley, joined once again by the legend, the lovely man that is Errol Smith.
Nice one, thank you.
It's all right to talk through this game. Lots of positive things to talk about, Errol. How nice.
Purely positives.
We're going to go through all these talking points, get your comments and thoughts in the chat as well. We'll come to some of you listening and you're part of the Discord group, going there because I've got that tab open. I'm ready for you. If you're not in the Discord group, YouTube comments fine.
Yeah.
Don't worry about YouTube is fine. I want to start with early kickoff, Errol. The crowd seemed right up for it. It's a nice touching tribute. When you put in brackets there, rebuilding the fortress. And something we kind of touched on before the game. I'm not sure whether it was out of hope or just me being excited for the game. Of normally when you hear Burnley half-12 kickoff, I think your reaction during that game was just bleh, because that's what you're thinking. Oh, yeah, they'll just.
How'd you get yourself up for that one?
How'd you get yourself up for it? And it'd be 10-15 minutes of great football, and it'd be like Burnley just time wasting, being aggressive, whatever else. But I think obviously by the time fans back in after 530 odd days, it was at Anfield. Obviously they were the team that broke our record. But I also happen to think that the way that they were playing, and they kind of resorted into, as Klopp's just called it in his post-match conference, go much wrestling, if you like those challenges. I think that played into the crowd and the players, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I think they fed off that, and I think the crowd kind of sometimes dictates the energy and the intensity that we approach our games with, and you could tell that from the first 10-15 minutes almost. It was quite frantic. There wasn't a lot of control from either side. I think Burnley decided it wasn't really long ball football, but he was trying to just beat that midfield. He was trying to get early balls past that midfield and just try and get it up to their target guys up front. I think the guy you mentioned was on the wing?
Barnes.
But no,
McNeil.
McNeil. Yeah, I think he probably posed their biggest threats with some of his runs down our right hand side with Trent and stuff like that. But I think once the lads kind of grew in confidence and got past that, it was like, all right, yeah, we're good. I think the first 20 minutes, they probably had flashes of goal, whereas we didn't.
Yeah.
And then I think we kind of started to grow into the game. But yeah, it's just kind of, from what I could tell, and obviously we couldn't hear the sound when we was doing the watch along, it just seemed as if we was trying to build that momentum and build that fortress again, starting the foundations, crowd feeding that confidence from themselves into the players, and we started to knock on the door shortly after.
Yeah, I think it's also really important. We mentioned this in a few shows, so apologies if I'm repeating myself. But for the likes of Kostas Tsimikas in particular, Harvey Elliott, in fact, two of the players that stood out. There's 3 or 4 others that you can mention in there, but obviously they've not really played in front of a full Anfield before, or certainly not a full Premier League game. Kostas Tsimikas played 4 minutes last season in the Premier League. Harvey Elliott was away with Blackburn, so he hadn't done it. I know he's played some Carabao Cup games. I think one was against Arsenal with a full crowd, but being back at Anfield with a full crowd, the expectancy being high, Liverpool having the teams, the members back that they've kind of got, I think those lads thrived off it. Not only did they thrive off it, they didn't shrink under it either.
Yeah, well, I was half expecting that, because they've probably been pumping themselves up to live through that atmosphere and to live that experience for a while now, and some of them have been denied, cruelly, just due to circumstances that are far beyond anybody's control. But they relished the opportunity. As soon as the opportunity presented itself, they was right up for it, and you can't ask for really much more than that from your players. You get the opportunity to play at a full packed Anfield crowd. You want to leave everything on the pitch and make sure that that's what you do. Your blood, sweat and tears, it all goes into those 90 minutes. And those lads will be able to dust themselves off tonight and be like, I put a shift in, and be proud of the performance. So it just bodes well, because in terms of building that momentum from the start of the season, you want to start as you mean to go on. And Burnley could have presented us a banana skin today. And straight away, there would have been question marks about, are they really title contenders? Is it going to be the same old story with those low block sides? If Burnley... Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that they didn't perform well. They came and was combative, and they came to do what they did. But if they would have got any joy out of that, even if it would have been a 1-1, and that would have been how the game would have finished.
Just been a bit sick in my mouth there, all thanks.
Well, no, but when you're looking at it in a bigger picture, on another team, if they would have punished us for some of those sloppier moments in the first 10-15 minutes, and it's us having to find our way back into the game, and they push themselves back deeper and deeper and sink into their own goal, they set a template for other low block sides, and they set the blueprint really for how part of the season can go, whereas the other teams have still got, we haven't conceded a goal yet. I know it's only been 180 minutes of footy been played, but no one's got the answers for this getting through this defence or past this keeper at the minute.
And equally, Liverpool didn't have those options.
Yeah.
They're on the bench. We'll mix them up and do something different. I want to stick with Harvey Elliott because you made a couple of really good points during the show of him being an unknown quantity, or being that, everyone's been screaming out for a creative midfielder. Like, we've had them. I've said this loads of times. We've had them in Ox and Keita. They've just been injured and haven't played. Yeah. Equally, last season, we all know the issues that we kind of had. But for him to come in ahead of Thiago in that game, he didn't get bullied, but I think you pointed out, if you've seen an 18-year-old play who's not played a Premier League game of football and you're Burnley, okay, yeah, we'll let him know that we're here. I know it's a cliche, but he stood up to that, and he's having the crowd in there going, I know you said this the other week, if something goes wrong or a pass doesn't work out or you get the right idea, whatever, being put on the floor constantly and picking yourself back up, I know when we went in there today, the crowd will appreciate that. I'm going, fuck, come on, lad, let's go win.
Yeah, and they've got you back.
Yeah.
The crowd having you back in that moment, you said, and
they got into a fight with 54,000 other people, essentially.
Exactly, do you know what I mean? It's like, come on, then it's us in the Red Army, yeah. And I think for a young lad like him, having that kind of presence of that atmosphere, just kind of like spurring you on every time you play a nice pass, you drive with the ball, even when you're getting taken out and you're getting bouncing back up, your adrenaline just pumps. It's like you're almost in a fighting situation anyway. And I think from a young player's perspective, you've just got to commend him for the balls that the young lad showed to get up and deliver on the pitch. We've said it before with these young players, it's not an easy task to make a name for yourself in the Premier League. He had moments where, I wouldn't say his gameplay is similar to Jack Grealish, but in terms of how much he just draws the fouls in, because he is such an unknown, I think they targeted it as, there's not much weakness in this Liverpool squad, but in terms of physicality, we know we're men compared to him and he's a boy. Let's try and use that as our advantage. And it didn't work because he was winning free kicks for us in the right area. He was showing his strength towards it when he was coming back and defending as well. So from my perspective, it just boded well for him in terms of how he was able to perform and just hold his head up.
It's a compliment to his game, the fact they had to resort into fouling him to try and deal with him. I think it's a really good point that you're making there. And again, his overall game of, we're talking about creative midfielders and stuff like that, but movement's one thing that I picked up on Liverpool in pre-season, and having the bodies that we kind of got available to us, where we give it to the front three. But because of the bodies that we had last season, it was like, whoa, let's all hang back a bit. Whereas you're seeing triangles of play between Trent, Salah and Elliott on the other side, Keita, Tsimikas and Mane. But then, Jota comes deep, but Tsimikas will go forward, or Keita will go forward, but on the other side, Harvey Elliott. I don't know how much ground he covered, but they did a little touch map on
72 touches, 77 touches
before.
Or something before.
And it's like, you can easily be swallowed by those games and kind of go under the radar. But again, it's a testament to him and what he does. But I think he was part of the whole squad of, you mentioned the chances before that Burnley had kind of gotten behind, and to an extent, I think that's controlled by our high line and the way that we play. They were offside a couple of times. They caused issues. Dwight McNeil ran into the box, and I think Sean Dyche is trying to say it's a penalty. It's just clearly not. But one thing that stuck out for me is the tempo that Liverpool played. Now I think there's this persona of Liverpool that we play heavy metal football. Liverpool certainly didn't do it last season.
So measured.
Yeah, but we didn't play heavy metal football last season because we couldn't. The season before, we didn't. It was 2-1, 1-0, whatever, we'll do that. But the measured performance, and I think Naby Keita was the epitome of that, of going, well, I'll just stay with the ball here. I'll wait for someone to make a run. If they don't, I'll go past them. Liverpool were able to control the ball, or, if Burnley went pressing, we'll keep hold of it for 10, 15 minutes. It wasn't like gung-ho, let's all kind of go for it. But by our time, wear them out physically and mentally. Got to a point where they threw in a load of fouls because they were chasing shadows.
Yeah, they literally was, and we kind of predicted that could be the way it goes. If we get our game plan right and the tactics work in our favour, there is a good chance that after 65, 70 minutes, Burnley will end up chasing shadows. And there was early signs that was going to happen in the first half. We're very unlucky in that first half in the respect where we don't get that second goal because it's offside. But I think that's what you're alluding to there. Really, it was the way we just kind of controlled the ball. It was silky, it was nice, one touch, two touch passes, just knocking it off to people, trying to draw Burnley out a little bit, teasing them, saying, well, the ball's here if you want to come and press for it. And then as soon as they'd engage, it was
like dangling a carrot and go,
literally just, it was literally that, and just popping it around the corner. And the chances that we was creating, I think there wasn't many where and you don't expect it with the low block sides where you can knock a ball around a corner and you're going to be through on goal and you've got the opportunity to kind of get your head down and it's one-on-one with the goalkeeper. There aren't going to be loads of those chances. You've got to find different ways and make different opportunities on the pitch, and I think we just found it all over. Everybody was able to to bring an extra gear, I think, today in their performance.
Yeah, and because of Liverpool's variety in playing, like you're saying there, the different type of options that we had, it's very hard for Burnley to either maintain concentration or expectation of what Liverpool are going to do next. We mentioned Harvey Elliott is an unknown quantity. You probably didn't think Tsimikas was going to get forward as much as he did because he's not Andy Robertson, but he did. But
that's how we play.
But that's how, yeah.
So he's playing in that mould because Klopp's had the time to develop him in that.
But the first goal comes from that. Okay, we'll try and play some long balls over the top, which we can't try. We tried to go direct, we tried to do the overlaps and stuff like that. But the ball comes from Tsimikas doing another excellent cross, and his delivery has been spot on for every game.
Jota's movement.
Yeah, and Jota's movement of going, well, we've had these games before where we get forward, we'll lash a cross in. Oh, great, it's headed out.
Yeah.
It was clear. There's a counter-attack on. They score a goal into the blueprint that you can't talk about before. That's how you beat Liverpool before. But we missed Jota for so many games last season and so many months that we didn't have that. So Bobby's element for me my expectancy isn't him. He doesn't make that Jota run for me.
No, he doesn't.
And but his movement that he's talking about. But Liverpool just go, all right, we'll just cross it in instead and we'll score a goal that way. It's brilliant to watch.
Yeah, and I think that's important for us in terms of our playing style this season, that we've got that. And I don't say he's a natural striker or anything like that, because he's very versatile as Jota, but in terms of, he's probably in between those goal sticks, he is the guy that can find the back of the net from 6 yards, 10 yards, 80 yards, whatever
It's what
it is.
Origi should be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he's not a big imposing figure in terms of a target man, but it's his movement that makes it so good, and he can just find himself getting the ball one touch, and that's all he needs inside the box, and it can be banging it in. And they're the ones that put other teams on the back foot, because in seasons gone past, that's how we've been punished. They don't have a lot of possession, other teams. They don't have a lot of opportunities in our box. They might not have a lot of touches, but as soon as that ball lands in our box, they make the most of it, and that's what punishes us. If we've got that threat ourselves now, on top of the other threats that we know we've got with our front three, we're in a very strong position going forward, I think.
And also it asks the question of, we're going to this throughout the week when we're doing the build-up for the Chelsea game, we're going, do you drop Jota for the next game? Because it'd be very harsh to drop him, 2 goals, 2 games.
He's off to a flyer.
Yeah, Jota the
Absolutely.
slotter. Second half, Burnley hit us early with the offside, but again, I bring it back to, I think it's easy to say as fans are going, well, if they weren't offside, then we would have been punished in that sense. But that's Liverpool's game, isn't it? And again, something we didn't see last season because we didn't play as much as the high line, because we didn't have the
personnel to do
personnel to kind of go and do that. Joe Matip and Virgil van Dijk have got that down to a T. Okay, one game it will punish. Someone make a run from deep. That's how people beat it last time. And when you're playing the likes of Chelsea, it might be slightly different. But they're so confident in what they're doing to play a high line that, again, that must be a frustration for Burnley to go, well, we're trying everything we can. We're trying to play long balls. We're trying to run in behind, and nothing is working for them.
And the fact that they're so in sync with the goalkeeper as well, because it gives them the confidence that they, in the event that they can get caught out, or they eventually will get caught out at some point, there's always the chance that Alisson might bail them out of trouble.
Yeah.
And they're willing to make that risk. They've got enough confidence in their goalkeeper that, and we see it towards the very end of the game, he stays switched on. Yeah. It's that we've beat the high line, we're in, he got one-on-one with the keeper. You'd fancy a striker to score, but he can't. And I think we don't want to rely...
That's why you have the best goalkeeper in the world. Yeah.
Exactly. You don't want to rely on that too much. And, I think there's times where we probably won't in certain games. We'll probably be a little bit more defensively stable against some teams that we know what their threats are, the likes of Chelsea, City. You tweak it as and when. But when you're trying to get something against the Burnley, what's the point in sitting deep? Why aren't we pushing those guys further up the field? You know that Joel Matip is capable of bringing that ball out from defence if he needs to. We're about to say, Virgil van Dijk is more than capable of spraying those 60, 70-yard passes that will land to feet or land on somebody's chest, and it just starts and sparks a counter-attack for us. So if we can use our defence to turn it into an attack, I don't mind taking that little bit of a risk. Yeah. And, I think you said it yourself. I asked, in the stream, is it made you nervous them getting that opportunity? And if it wasn't offside, it would have been a goal. And you was just like, well, no. Hopefully, it's a bit of a wake up call for them. And after that, there's a period straight away where Liverpool just say, right, well, we're keeping hold of this ball now. Good luck trying to get it off us.
Yeah, and again, you brought that up before of the game management. That's one of the things that impressed me with the Norwich game. I said the Norwich was like a complete away performance. It's almost like a European way of like, well, just do what you need to do, get the job done. Nothing fancy, nothing gunko or heavy metal as before. And that was exactly the same. Again, moments where we're just controlling possession. We're happy to have the ball. We're not just throwing balls up for hopeful balls. There was times where Burnley got bodies back on the line. It's not like last season. Oh, we just lash a ball in and hope someone gets on the end of it and it's cleared and that's the end of that. It's like, all right then, we'll just keep hold of the ball for another 5-10 minutes, and you put the possession stats there. I think it was for a 5-minute period. Liverpool had 92% of possession. Good.
Dominated,
yeah. You're dominating, you're being patient, you're controlling the play, and you're mentally winding up the person that you played.
And you could see their frustrations. That's when the wrestling match started to come out.
But if you're doing that, and I compare this to playing FIFA or PES or whatever you play at home, like I do, I was playing online last night, and I did exactly the same thing of going, well, I don't need to score a goal, I'll just pass it round, and it's just foul after foul. You don't expect that from professional footballers.
But they're
that mentally tired because they're frustrated they can't get the ball back. They're resorting to throwing Jota on the floor, throwing Tsimikas on the floor, leaving elbows here and there. Klopp called it like a wrestling thing, but that shows to me that Liverpool are still doing their job properly if that's what they have to resort to.
And well, it's that, and then on top of that, at the end of it, you said it in the stream there, you was like, we've had that 92, but we need to make it count now.
Yeah.
But they're the opportunities when you've got most chance of making it count because of how much pressure you've been putting them under. And it wasn't wave after wave of attack. It was just control possession, switches of play, moving it, one touch, triangles, and Burnley just didn't have the answers for it. He wasn't willing to press and engage. And when he did, we just knock it around them. The only answer that they had, and it was just winning us fouls every single time because he was just getting frustrated. And I think that bled into, I think the fans started to feel that in the ground as well. They was getting up for it. There was some standout performances in the middle of all that. I think Sadio Mane in that period, he's probably our closest thing to a goal threat. Yeah. And he, there was a few opportunities that he had. There was, as you said there, a few clearances off the line and from the set pieces. Tsimikas as well, especially with his corners, they looked really threatening. And you could almost sense it was coming. But my only apprehension was the timing for that second goal, and I don't think we could have timed it any better.
No, Sadio Mane is an interesting one. I want to come on to him now. Obviously, would have seen Jota, Bobby, and Salah all get on the score sheet last week. I think he had plenty of chances there. There was moments where, again, back to the movement where he's picking central positions up. Jota plays to him. He does a little twist, nice little twist turn, but I think it's blocked on one of them. But he just keeps going and keeps going. Again, the ones that are cleared off the line, I think one of them is from him. But it's just that desire and determination to kind of keep going. Like, I've got no doubt Liverpool create loads of chances. I know it's hard to watch sometimes if we don't take them, but one thing I'll always back Liverpool to do is to keep going and keep going. And Sadio Mane is one of those players. I think someone said before half time for the stream or during it, I think Mane's the one that's going to come off.
No,
mate. We talk about like a healthy competitiveness. Nailed it. Inside the squad, like he's gonna want to score. Like you've seen those lads score and go, actually, I want to be the golden boot winner this year. I'm playing with my mates again who are going to supply me properly, and if not, I'll just set them up instead. So I think him playing, he's one of those other players that plays for a crowd as well.
Yeah, and that was my point that I was about to make. Then it's the fact that he thrives off that playing for a crowd. So when things aren't particularly going his way, they can appreciate the runs he makes. They can appreciate the moments and the nearly chances for him. And the crowd will be kicking themselves saying, "Oh, that should have been the one that he scored." And sometimes it's a beauty when you've got 2-3 easy chances and you scuff them or you don't quite get enough power. But then the goal that he does score, I mean, even if we just break that down, the play from the back to the front is phenomenal. Do you know what I
just watched the back on BT Sport. It's going to be worth watching Match of the Day for the second week on the run.
Yeah.
But you're right, that goal was exceptional, wasn't it?
Yeah, and you say going from Virgil van Dijk, he sprays it out. Harvey Elliott, cool as you like, just takes it down on his chest, 2 touches, brings it down, feeds it straight into Trent. Trent first time ball round the corner. I know he tried it in the first half and it almost comes off, but it was almost like for like. And the beauty of it is Mane there with a full crowd there, the pressure, keeping his eyes on the ball. He's got a little bit more space than he did in the first half, and he just...
It's an easy chance in that first one as well, with 2 defenders either side of him, and the one that comes off his shin. Exceptional goal. I will come on to Trent in a second, but I just want to say thank you very much to Aaron Carroll Moran, who for €15 super chat says wasn't able to watch the game, but thanks to you guys, I was entertained. Keep up the great work. Bought the Hender, but guys, I can't wait. You can have Walk Along Justice for 97. Thank you so much for your support on all fronts there. I hope you enjoyed the book. Thank you for listening and watching to the stream. I've felt the love today.
I know,
it's been really nice, hasn't it?
I'm looking forward to this season.
Keith Hibbert, who's just joined as a first team member, says Errol is proper scouse. Joel family says we love the watch along with Ross and Errol. Great job, lads. Paul and Chris and the 2 Redmen looking like LFC, a first class side with an equally high class bench. Keep it up. Thank you very much. And again, he says after the first 2 games, looking like a great squad. You only get these sense that it's still improving. That's what I'll come on to in a second. Looks like a promising season. And Charlie the Red with the £5 super chat. A great win, great watch along. What do you guys think about Dyche's disc beard? I'll come on to Sean Dyche in a second, but one thing I do want to kind of drive home, Errol, is, and I have said this quite a lot, but Bin last season and forget about it because it's done now. That isn't.
It was a freak season.
Last season was not Liverpool for me, but also I'm taking encouragement. And again, I have to caveat it with it's only Burnley, it's only Norwich, but the variety in play that Liverpool have got, the options that we've got of the ones that have just played the game and the ones that are on the bench. Some of the ones that aren't even on the bench, by the way, because we used Thiago, Gomez, and Bobby for 10 minutes or less in that game. Then we still had Canate on the bench, Andrew Robertson on the bench. You got Fabinho, who's not there, Oxlade-Chamberlain, who's not there, Curtis Jones, who never took any part in this game. Liverpool have strength and depth. I'm not saying we don't need to buy anyone before anyone starts. That's not exactly what I'm saying. But the start of the season, and the comment made me think there of, going forward, what Liverpool have got. We've got Chelsea, then there's international break. Yes, it's a long ride. Yes, there's still 36 games to kind of go, plus what are other competitions. If Liverpool's team is managed properly, and I've got no doubt that it will, and there's options to stay alive, last season will not happen again with what the range record, because it's a freak for Liverpool. It can't happen twice. It's a freak for any side. But we have to take encouragement from these games in the way that we're playing. I'll repeat it again. This is the Liverpool that I recognise. This isn't Liverpool last season. This is the Liverpool side that won the league, plus Thiago in there, plus Harvey Elliott, plus Naby Keita I'll throw in there because
he's fit at the minute, and Matip's fit. Like, you know, look at the way we finished the season last season. We finished it strong. That's an indication of the mentality that you're going to go into next season. Do you know what I mean? They knew. They didn't down tools and give up on themselves. So from that perspective, it was like, right, we're in the best headspace to go again. It's like when you're trying to diet and cut out all the sugary drinks. So you're like, you know what? Liverpool is Coca-Cola. You know what I mean? Proper Coke. That's what we are. You drink it. It's lovely. It's nice. And then you decide, do you know what? For a year, I'm just going to go on Coke Zero and not have any sugar in my drinks, and it's useless. You think you're going to lose weight in that year miraculously, and you realise it doesn't make any difference. So the following season, you go...
I feel like you're trying to tell me something here.
No,
you got me dead in the eye when you said that. It won't make a difference, Ross. Give it up. All right.
No, but it is. Now we're back on the Coke. All the sugars in the team again. The bouncing off the walls. The fans are in the stadiums. It's that part of that feel-good factor that, like...
It's that David Brent thing of just it's all coming together.
It's all coming together.
Just before we go, actually, do you think there's an element of last season helping spur the side on after, I compared it to Kiev, to the season we missed out by Lee by a point of, listen, lads, we all went through last season together. Let's fucking go again.
Yeah, a huge, and I think what makes it even more special in that respect is, we've had the Kiev moment when it was not necessarily one person that let us down, even though it was, and you've got to pick them up as a team because that's what you do. It's a team sport. Last season, everybody had moments where they had stinkers in parts.
Yeah.
So everybody feels the onus on themselves. They're no fault of Virgil van Dijk being injured for as long as he was, but he'll have felt that he's let his side down by just his body not being ready and being able to get in the game. Keita the same. There should have been moments that I should have been called upon, and I wasn't because I wasn't ready. Tsimikas, again, feeling as though, if this season was a normal season, I would have had more chances, but you couldn't just throw me in with the way that the back line was chopping changed on a speed dating tip last year. Like, it just couldn't happen. So this season, I feel like everybody is mentally in a place where they feel as though this is the best chance to relive that form that drove us to the heights that we did. However many 198 points over 2 seasons or something like that. Like, we've got a serious ceiling, and this Liverpool side are just getting started.
Yeah, well, there you have it. We're going to win the league. Be there first, aren't we? Well. Just very, very quickly, because people are asking about Sean Dyche and some of his comments. Like, I quite like the guy. I'm frustrated with the way that Burnley played, and he did annoy me today. But again, that's a result of like that's all they had. When he's almost like holding a child out at arm's length and trying to punch you. Liverpool's going, now we're not having that. Klopp's thing after the game was like, oh, we'd like that, those tackles. Go and watch wrestling. Yeah. I thought it was absolutely excellent from Jurgen Klopp. But, he's saying there's a penalty. It's clutching at straws for me. They're outclassed today.
Yeah, he was played off the park. And let's be honest, if you're going to play 2 games of the season and you're going to start referees in the Premier League are going to start giving penalties for fair challenges, 50-50 shoulder barges, you may as well just call the season a day now, because you're just going to have to give penalties for everything. The whole point of this revised, tackle rule is to let the play go a little bit more and don't let just any contact turn into a foul. It shouldn't. It's a contact sport, and it's kind of ironic that a guy who relies on his team being so physical would then moan at a shoulder barge for a penalty. But
That's a very good point, yeah. It's quite nice that we've had so far another game of football. We're not here to start talking about VAR controversy and all that stuff, so let's hope the game does flow. Thank you very much for listening and for watching throughout the whole of the streams today. I'm not joking, actually. It really does mean a lot when we feel the love and loads of you done so far in the comments, whether it's been super chats, liking the stream, or the comments of enjoying me and Errol. We're going to be back next Saturday, myself and Errol. We're going to do the Chelsea game as well, so if you enjoyed today, I know a lot of this heavily relies on Liverpool playing good football and winning games, but also if you want more of me and Errol, we'll be back next Saturday. We're going to do all the post-match content, live watch along for the Chelsea game as well. But of course, we do have all the content on the redmentv.com coming this week as well. Got the final word on Monday. We've got the Ran League on Monday. We've got Reds News Roundup. We've got loads more content coming. So if you want more of the Redmen TV, go over to redmentv.com and go and get yourself signed up. If you want to sign up as a club legend, we have an absolute belter of a competition coming up. Those of you who haven't bought the book, you can win the book, you can win the DVD, you can win a poster, you can win a mug, you can win a t-shirt, all in a nice little Hendo 10 box. There's a little advert here we're going to play out on. But thank you so much for your love and support today. It does mean a lot, and we'll see you soon. Ta-ra.
Hey, what's happening? Competition time. Phenomenal, world-class, completely exclusive prize for you guys this month. It is a Jordan Henderson 10 years of red commemorative box. These are not for sale anywhere. You cannot buy these. It has got the book in there. It has got the DVD of the series in there. There is a t-shirt, there is a mug, there is a poster as well. It's a money can't buy prize, and you can win it by signing up to the redmentv.com, a Club Legend level over there as well, or by upgrading your existing subscription to Club Legend as well. It's as simple as that. Not only do you get that incredible competition prize, but you get amazing content streamed exclusively for you each and every month. Documentaries, features, interviews, and bonus Redmen TV shows as well. It is a wonderful experience. It's like Netflix for Reds. And yes, in addition to all that, of course, you get to join our Discord group, which is full of wonderful club legends like yourself, and enter into those competitions each and every month. Join up now, enter the competition to win the Hendo 10 years of red exclusive commemorative box, and good luck.